It's now time to speak to the Colgate India Managing Director Prabha Parmeshwaran on how she beat out 99 other brands to retain the numero uno title not once but 2 times in a row. And mind you, this is Prabha's first ever media interaction, exclusive and right here on Brand Equity. Take it away. So #1 again on the most trusted brands. One thing that I do need to ask you is that it's no mean task when you're already right on top. We know of so many brands that have now almost halved in their market share simply because of market share erosion, competitiveness, the current environment. What is it that you do differently?
At the heart of everything that we do, we believe that we have to build trust. So it's not just with the consumer, it's to do with the retailer, it's got to do with the customers, it's got to do with our employees. And the second piece of it is how we have consistently built the brand Colgate in India. In 1937, when this company was incorporated in India, Colgate dental cream used to be pushed around in carts.
Really?
That was a means of distribution. Now we've come a long way today. We are available, as you know, in 5 million outlets. And best of all, 1 out of 2 Indians who use toothpaste use Colgate.
With Colgate Sensitive Pro Relief, would you say in hindsight, I know you've caught up, you were a late mover just there because Sensodyne launched first and you really went into attack mode there.
We launched it when the technology was ready and it was available to us to launch. So irrespective as to what happened in the marketplace, it was an insight that we were working towards because we understand in the Indian market that there is a high degree of sensitivity, and it was something that we were working on. We needed the right technology to be able to really activate that whole benefit segment, and that's what we did.
So one of the big factors that we've been told that Colgate is really pushing all boundaries is the way that you have spread your distribution network in the rural area. What are you doing that extra to reach out to those small towns and villages, and of course ensure that you're not only increasing penetration but also awareness and usage?
Rural has been a great growth engine, and a couple of things that we have been focused on. Colgate's been focusing on driving distribution. We, as you know, have the best distribution of any FMCG products. We get to 5 million retail outlets. However, what we are trying to do now is expand that distribution, not just for a single product, but make sure our entire range of products are available. And that's again because the consumer today in rural is not spoiled for choices. They want to seek variety. They want to see a large portfolio.
Right.
The second part of it is we're very focused on making sure that that their products available at the right price. Now you would ask me, but isn't that what we did before? But you know what has changed again? The change is in the rural consumer. In the past, they would, if they came into the category, it would be through tooth powder, then they would evolve to Colgate dental cream. But today, that's not how it works. So I'm a rural consumer. I've seen the advertising for Colgate Max Fresh. I want Colgate Max Fresh. So Colgate Max Fresh is now available at 10 rupees. Colgate dental cream is available at 10 rupees. And then is communication. 2 things that we do. One is the Bright Smiles, Bright Future program, which focuses on creating awareness of oral health, is now focused in rural areas. So we're creating the demand through children because they really are the change agents and they bring about change in a family environment. The recent experiment that's really worked out very well is mobile phones. So we did messaging on mobile phones. We reached about 8 million consumers to tell them that Colgate dental cream is now available at 10 rupees and what the benefits of it are. So this was an experiment we did. And what really surprised us is when we did the callbacks, nearly 20% of the consumers that we reached remember the brand name, they remember the benefits. So we are now looking at mobile as a great medium to connect with people in media dark areas where, probably television and print don't reach.
Right. I know that India is a highly underpenetrated market when it comes to oral care, so there's so much potential in terms of growth. But would you say that the big growth is going to come from the top end of the pyramid?
Yes, to some extent, Sonali, that would be. But the India growth story has so many opportunities, and that's why it's such an exciting place to be.
Yeah.
So there's penetration, which you rightly pointed out, and penetration today is sitting at 70% if it's only toothpaste that we talk about. So that means there are 300 million people who don't use toothpaste. That's the size of the United States.
That's true.
Yeah. So that in itself is a big opportunity.
Right.
Then you start look at consumption as an opportunity. You know, if you measure consumption as how many grams of toothpaste do people use in a year, India is about 130 grams. Compare that with a much smaller country just next door, which is Malaysia. They use 300 grams. Unlike penetration, which is very dependent on affordability, consumption is not necessarily a thing that is linked to affordability.
Sure.
There are socio-cultural issues which drive consumption. So the other piece that you talked about was premiumization, which absolutely will be another growth driver. And the fourth, which of course will come much later, is regimen. We, ideally, as you know, for good oral care, you should be using a toothpaste and a toothbrush, rinsing with a mouthwash, and then flossing.
So would you say, in a world where everything is going through such extreme makeovers, so never a fear of the fact that you might actually be looked at as a geriatric brand or an old fogey that's not contemporizing with times? Never a fear of that?
If you look at the old advertising of how we used to advertise the brand over the last 75 years, that's evolved. The graphics, that has evolved. The number of brands that we have has evolved. But I think the one thing that we've made sure as we have moved with the consumer is made sure that certain things remain consistent. And so it's evolution, not revolution.
Fair enough, fair enough. Absolute pleasure to meet you, Prabha. Thank you so much.